Hi guys!
Hello.
Welcome to Etta, Arlene's Spiritcast. If you're new to this podcast, we talk about all things related to mindfulness, magic, astrology, tarot, Reiki, meditation, light language. That's our new thing we're adding in.
We're excited about that.
Yeah, and anything in that realm, in this spiritual realm, all-encompassing, open to it all. And today we are so excited. We have Divine Derricka on our show. And we really love her.
Truly. We love all our guests.
We love everybody.
But there are certain people that we talk to that really connect on a soul level. And this is one of those beautiful, beautiful people.
Yeah, the thing about this interview was that, so we went in because we love her work. We thought she'd be great on the show. And then she's just talking and there's just so much wisdom. But then there were these like synchronicities and these like interesting connections. And it's funny how the universe aligns you with people. It was
the same for Grace and Shannon.
Oh, there's a lot of people.
Yeah, a lot of people we connected with.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people, like I feel like everybody we have on, we think, oh, we're just having this guest on. And then there's some sort of like connection that we have with them.
It's never surprised by the magic of the universe. You know, with our podcast, like we like to interview people and have normal conversations and natural, and it's always nice when you can tell that you most likely have had multiple lifetimes with these energies and they somehow find you.
Yeah.
So that shows you that whatever's meant to be is going to be, because the universe is going to present it in different ways for you to get into contact. And that's exactly what happened with Divine Derricka. And thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Yeah, we truly grateful. And in this episode, we do want to mention, so you don't go in blind, at the end, she does I believe it's a transmission for us. Just so you're not caught off guard. Like, we felt the energy. You said your teeth were chattering.
The whole conversation,
yeah.
My energy was just through the roof, and it was so intense, like I had teeth chattering.
Yeah.
Like I had to jittery. It was jittery. Felt like I had to move and get this energy out.
Yeah, and she so part of what she does, and she's gonna explain it all in the episode, is she helps, like, her presence. There's like a lot of energy around her, and she can just, like, I don't know, something happens and it, like, awakens certain things in people. So if you, like, start seeing, like, spirits or something after this, you're meant to listen to it. This is your activation point. Because, I mean, I know definitely you had crazy dreams after the episode.
To say the least, to say the least.
Yeah.
I'm not going into all the details about my life, but that, yeah.
Yeah, and then
that's saying something for us, because we have a similar effect on people. And, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, because we talked to her after the show.
Yeah.
And I had asked her a question because I had, like, a phenomenon happen. And, she had, like, we're talking. And then I ended up having my contact after the next day. It was weird. It's just amazing. So she's going to do her transmission, and then right after, that, we always have Reiki at the end of it. So this is like one of those episodes you probably want to just, like, hang out at home and just chill, not drive your car, and or at least, like, towards the end, like, listen to the end of the episode.
Save it for later.
Yeah, because you can meditate. We meditated while she did the transmission. So, you're welcome to do that. You don't have to. You'll still receive it if you're open to it, I believe. But, it's something to think about doing with this episode.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll keep it short. Do you want to tell everybody where they can find us at?
Yeah, so you can go follow us over on Instagram, Tumblr, Pinterest at Arlene. You can follow us on Twitter at edpro_PGH. We tweet a lot. And you can go to our website, edarlene.com, sign up for our email list. I'm going a mile a minute. To receive a free Reiki session almost every single month. And then you go to our YouTube channel where we post Reiki-infused videos almost every single day. You're laughing at me? Yeah. Should I start over?
Keep going. We're ready.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this energy, I don't know what's happening. But that definitely was a activator moment. Like, this energy is just coming in.
I was so happy after the interview, too. Like, really, like I don't know, just really happy. And
it's because we connect with someone in our soul family.
I don't know, the Lemurian thing. Oh, we talk about Lemurian stuff. So
yeah, we do. Yeah, we so go to our YouTube channel and you can subscribe over there. We post Reiki-infused videos almost every single day. Like and subscribe. I don't know. She got to slow it down. I'm going a mile a minute. Like, come on, man. Universe. What's going on? I don't know. But enjoy
What is
this
life?
What is life? What is existence? I don't know. I sound like a crazy person.
All right, guys.
All right, stay tuned for the episode.
This is great.
Okay, guys, this is an ad. We believe in supporting small business, and today we're talking about the small business called Garage Cats.
They make 100% organic, handmade lip balm using hemp and cocoa butter. It smells amazing. It lasts for a very long time. They use eco-friendly paper tubes. They're pretty much awesome. If you are interested in supporting this business, you can find the link below or go to garagecats.etsy.com. We just want to take a quick moment to invite everyone listening to check out our shop at arlene.com. If you like what we do, it is one of the easiest ways to support us. Plus, you will get our awesome handcrafted 100% vegan soy candles, our prints, books, oracle cards, and book a Reiki session. All of this can be found at ettarlene.com and linked in the show notes. All right, guys, we're back with Divine Derricka.
Thank you for being on the podcast.
Yeah.
So excited to be here.
Yeah, we're so happy to have you on. So I guess starting off, do you want to tell our listeners what you do?
Sure, let me get right into it. So what I do is I won't say it's complex, but it's something that spirit is still unfolding into me and what it is. But essentially, I'm an alchemist, a healer, where I use, like energy healing, the power of my voice to heal others, to activate dormant parts of their DNA. So I work with a lot of people that have spiritual gifts that either have been suppressed due to trauma or past life events. And they always, I never have to go out looking for people. They always find me. And it's always through having heard my light language that they have come to me. So in a sense, my light language and the light language transmissions that I do is this call to people that only those that resonate with it answer the call. And once they're ready to step up into their power, into their gifts, once they're ready to alchemize their trauma and use that as power, because I teach my clients how to take their pain and alchemize it and use it as medicine. I always say it's taking the poison and creating medicine. So I work with people mainly in a one-on-one container because I find that it's easier that way for me to tune into their energy, because a lot of their spirit guides are potent with the people that I work with. So, that is my main focus, is alchemy, light language healing, and also women's empowerment, because a lot of the clients that I work with are mainly women, and it's always women that are here to do big work. They're here to share their gifts. They're here to amplify their voice. They're here to be mothers. They want to be mothers. So I definitely work with mainly the divine feminine energy, but I would say I'm a really good balance of both. But I always just say that my work is divine alchemy.
Wow.
I love that.
Yeah.
You're in direct alignment with what we believe in.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Everything you just said, I was like, yes.
Yeah, in my head, I'm like, oh man. My favorite thing you mentioned was the mothers, because that's something that's been very big with me, like the idea of honoring the womb and women like stepping into that power that we have as like the mother as well. I feel like our society really, we don't take care of mothers, and of the womb, and of like, you can think of like so many ways where it's like hard for women when it should be something that you're like, wow, you've created life, like, or you have the capability of doing that. So I thought that was pretty amazing that you specifically had mentioned that.
We're the portal for souls.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
And there needs to be a level of respect there, and sacredness to it all.
Exactly.
And I feel like
we are powerful,
Oh yeah, definitely. So I want to know, we both want to know, everybody wants to know, like how you got started on all this. Like we follow you on TikTok and you do your transmissions and they're amazing.
Yeah.
I want to know like your story and how did this all happen?
All right, let us journey to the beginning, shall we? So like I said, I'll start from the beginning. So my spiritual journey, my awakening into remembering who I am, awakening to the fact that there's so much more here. I'm so much more than this. It started off from a really shitty relationship that was the catalyst for my awakening. I will say as well, before that, when my mom had passed, she had transitioned on, that was kind of like the first initial part of my awakening, but it wasn't until I was in this really toxic relationship for over a year. And after it had ended, I asked myself, what in me attracted someone like that? What in me was a match to someone of that caliber that would do something so hurtful in that way? And once I started asking myself those inner questions, it's like you ring a doorbell and you're bound to get an answer. So that took me on this journey of just dismantling everything I ever thought I knew about myself. That was back in 2017, where I just experienced this dismantling and I was just like, who am I? Like, what do I need? What do I like? Like, what is my life? What have I been doing? And I started getting, into like witchcraft because I've always felt drawn to witches and crystals. My first ever crystal was a rose quartz in the shape of a heart. And that took me on the journey of healing my heart because at that time I had so much like self-hatred. I didn't like who I was. I, was dealing with depression and anxiety. So it took me on this deep journey inside myself where I was just picking apart all of these systems that were in place, why I attracted toxic partnerships, why I had the mindsets that I had. So, when you are curious, I was hungry for knowledge. I was like, I want to know all the things, started getting into meditation and mantras and chanting. And so on Instagram, there is a plethora of information on Instagram, but I've quickly learned that not all cups being offered are ones you want to drink. So it was just kind of like discerning like, okay, this information is legitimate. This is bullshit. And it was just really getting connected with my intuition. But in 2018, when I was, really connecting more with my spirit guides, they started to align me with legitimate people that were in alignment with my path. They weren't like fakes, scammers, and all that. It was this beautiful soul. Her name is Heather. She goes by Activation Vibration. I was led to one of her light language transmissions on YouTube, and it literally changed my life. She, just hearing her speak, awakened something ancient within me that has not been closed since it was opened. Like literally, I always say it was like the floodgates opened up and I just started seeing light codes, symbols, like just channeling through my third eye. I would see them when my eyes were open. I had memories unlocked, and that was when I was drawn to a Lemurian seed quartz. And I was able to connect with my past life from Lemuria and Atlantis and this language that we spoke that felt like home. The best way for me to describe it was like I was home again because for a really long time, I had felt so displaced. I felt like I'm not from here. I don't belong in this world. This world seemed foreign to me. And hearing her speak light language and her specific dialect of it just opened up my heart in such a way where I remembered and a memory came unlocked where I was actually speaking this as a child. It brought the remembrance like, I used to speak this. I used to write these codes when I was younger, but because of trauma and the way I grew up, I kind of suppressed that. But her transmission awakened it for me. And at the beginning of it, I was really private about it because it felt sacred and it felt like I was getting reacquainted with a part of myself. So I didn't share it with other people. I was just constantly like scribbling light codes in my journals. Like I have pages and pages of light codes, just transmissions. And I would speak it, alone in my room. And then I would say it wasn't until 2019 that I got a little bit more braver and I started to share it with others, but it was just snippets. I wouldn't do a full blown transmission like I do now. And it actually wasn't until 2021 that I felt the call from my guides to share publicly. And I was like, are you shitting me? Like, you really want me to go public? Like, you want me to share this with people? And I kind of hesitated at first because I was like, no, like, I don't think I should. No, maybe I should hold back. But the call just kept getting louder and louder and louder to a point where I couldn't ignore it anymore. And so I was like, okay, so I started sharing a little bit of my transmissions on my Instagram. I would make like little videos. And then Spirit was like, okay, we want you to take it up a notch. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, what? So Spirit was like, we want you to make TikTok. And at that time, I was so turned off by TikTok. I was like, ew, I don't want to do that. That's stupid. But Spirit was like, no, you need to do TikTok and you need to do your transmissions on there. So that's what I did. And it was my first transmission where it was like potent, like a real full blown on transmission, where I was activating people's divine cosmic DNA. And that was like my first ever viral video. And from then on, it was just on and cracking. Like thousands of people commenting, like, I remember this. Oh my gosh, like I know this language, I feel it. And I was just so blown away by the response. I was like, oh shit, like people are actually ready for these transmissions. They're ready for this level of healing. And that's when Spirit was like, okay, like get comfortable with, more people, more exposure. And then that's when I felt the call to start incorporating it into my work and building my work around that as my form of, the healing modality that I do. And that was really the start of it. And ever since then, it's just been nothing but a blessing to see so many people come back home to their remembrance. And for me to come back home to my remembrance and to just share my voice in this way, in a way I never thought I ever would. And it's just been a blessing ever since I decided to put my fears to the side and transmute those fears and just do what I was called to do.
Wow. Love that.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it.
Yeah. We have Lemurian crystals as well.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
When did we get those? 2018?
Probably, yeah, around 2018.
Yeah.
Now, have you meditated with it, like running your fingers on the
the barcode?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's
No, I wish I had mine on me.
something else.
That's a heck of a synchronicity.
Yeah. So for our listeners with the Lemurian crystals, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. If I remember correctly, they were hidden, and there's information on them, and whenever they were supposed to be found again, like when the time is right for humanity, the holders of those crystals will find them. It'll come to them. So if you cross paths with a Lemurian crystal, like if it's given to you, or if if you find it somewhere, or you go to like when we found ours, we went to a crystal shop and there were just 3 of them, tiny. Our other friend has the 3rd one, and that was it. It was very small, kind of hidden away, and we kind of like felt like they were ours. So basically, people who have them were tasked with of holding that information and taking care of that wisdom that they hold. So that's crazy that you have one as well. It's really cool.
Yeah, it was honestly, like you were saying with meditating with it, because I have 3. So that's funny that you say, that you guys found 3 of them. I literally have 3 exactly myself.
Wow.
And as I was meditating, with the first one that I ever got, I remember vividly being part of those that hid the crystals.
Wow.
It awakened that memory within me. Like, I remember this. I remember that we encoded the information in these crystals, because the reason why we did that was during the fall of Atlantis. So because Lemuria came before Atlantis, and Lemurians were trying to warn the Atlantean people, because they were getting, we were getting thirsty for power. We were wanting to harness more of the crystal's power and just use it selfishly. That's when slavery started. Atlanteans started to enslave the Lemurians because they deemed them as weak. And so there were the priests and the priestess that wanted to take this information, the information that would help us to bring everything back into balance. So that is what we did. We programmed these crystals, we hid them. A lot of us went underground, some didn't make it. And then when the fall happened, because we prophesized it, we knew that it was going to happen. We tried to warn them and they didn't want to listen. So we took precautions to assure that this type of, like, it was a catastrophe, wouldn't happen ever again. And that's what we're witnessing now as people are connecting with these Lemurian courts, is that we are being programmed with the remembrance of how to bring back harmony, how to restore balance, and how to activate the dormant parts of our DNA. And that's exactly what light language does.
Wow. Yeah. Wow, it's so interesting. Yeah, I mean, that's interesting you were saying too, so we don't make the same mistakes. Because my crystal, when I did it, was very, and I meditated with it a long time ago, but I remember it being very much about like the environment for me, and like oceans in particular, and kind of like how important it all is,
Yeah.
And then we look at like what we're doing with the earth now. This is a big theme. I'm very much like an advocate for the earth. Like um but yeah, that's so crazy, like when you were saying like so we don't make the same mistakes, because now if I remember correctly, and like I said, please correct me if I'm wrong, the Atlanteans started to become more like into technology and less with like spirituality, where the Lemurians kind of combined like advanced technology with spirituality.
Yes.
Okay. Wow. And wow.
I don't know if this might sound silly, but I thought that back then as well, the level of communication, a lot of it was telepathic.
It was because they were, the Lemurians, we were very, because I've had lifetimes in both, where Lemurians, we were all about heart telepathy. So we communicated through the heart. And then once we, moved into Atlantis, it became mental. So it was more mental telepathy. And that is where a lot of, like subliminals, mind control, mind altering, brain work, that is where that stems from. All that technology that we see now in this world, things to do with the mind and programming the mind, that stemmed from Atlantis.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So interesting.
My mind is blown. It is, because I feel like, I don't know, this like common theme, like history repeats itself. And there's things that we think are newer occurrences or of recent, like maybe the past 200 years, but you're really talking thousands of years past that we're tapping into, which is wild.
And how much like have we like gone away as a society, then come back, like those cycles.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I personally believe that we've destroyed ourselves before and have come back. But, with like Atlantis, like the fall of Atlantis would be an example. That's so interesting that you remember past lives that far back. So like we've had readings done that have said that we have gone, have had experiences very far back. but there's like a limit to how much I have access to of mine, which obviously that's for like a reason, you know, like we're given information as we're supposed to. So I think it's pretty amazing that you can remember that far back. And it's kind of crazier that we're aligning with you right now. Because I had no idea.
Yeah.
Even the number 3 holds resonance.
Yeah.
Like,
universe. 3 is really potent, you know, for me especially. And, you know, 3 is a divine feminine number. And if you think of the number 369, you know, the codes that created our universe, that number holds significance like throughout history, you know, like they say to repeat things 3 times. And, you know, so it's just amazing how numbers can have such power and they hold such power. It's just, I love that you guys align with that number too.
Yeah, that's actually my favorite number.
Yeah, well, so I've been doing more like stuff with my spirit guides, and like they have me on this newer journey, and one of the things they said was just, you know how like you can have like a personal signifiers for your like team, like you know what it means, you know. And they said that 3 was important. Like if I saw, so like let's say I have like information come in and then I see like, you know, 333 or 3 or something, that might be, for me, that would be like confirmation that it's from them.
Yeah.
And that's like this theme this year. I don't know if that's going to continue to be like a signifier, but right now while I'm learning this like new stuff, it is. So it's like, I don't know, I'm tripping out right now. It's like,
and we love your light language.
Yeah.
That's how I found you. We found you was from TikTok, which is amazing. And we personally were like not interested in using TikTok at all until recently because of, you know, everything behind it. But now it's like we've been able to connect with so many beautiful people.
That's a lot of really cool people. Yeah. Like I know, like you were saying, there's a lot of a lot of weird information out there. Yeah. But what I like that you said was that you used your like intuition and I believe you said your guides to help discern what was like real and what wasn't. And I think that's really important because everyone's waiting for somebody else to tell them like, don't do this, do that. Whenever there's all this like wisdom that we hold within. I mean, just us sitting here, like just how many lifetimes have we had these experiences? Like, where's all that wisdom? It's like there, if you like tap into it, I believe.
Exactly.
So, and even your story, like when you started this, and you said that you had a bad relationship, and you had to go within and use your own personal awareness to figure out why you were in that situation and things that need to change. That's so interesting to me. Yeah. Because I literally was through a similar experience, but I lasted a lot longer in that. But it turned out like some of that stuff that I went through in that situation were catalysts to push us to do other things. Like why we wrote Things to Know About Self-Love. I didn't know that was something that I needed in my healing journey. And we've been able to help people with that. Yeah. So it's like we go through these experiences for a reason.
Exactly. And at the beginning of it, when you're in the thick of it and you're going through all this bullshit, and at the time it is bullshit because you're like, fuck this shit. I don't like this. I don't want, but we don't realize that a lot of that is building us up for something more. At the time, it just seems like, why is this happening to me? And I had to switch my mentality to why is this happening to me? To this is happening for my elevation. This is happening to take me higher than I ever have gone before. And I had to realize too that those of us that go through such traumatic events and we were not broken by them, we did not succumb to just, certain like drugs and just things of that nature. Although I did struggle with addiction at a time, but it's like the fact that we didn't succumb fully. And the fact that we are still here now and we are still choosing to love, we are still choosing to rise higher is a testament to the strength of our soul. And it's a testament to how mature and how old and ancient our souls actually are, because there are some souls I've noticed that are newer souls. You know, it's their first time incarnating on earth. So when they deal with certain things, they're like, I have no idea how to deal with this. But those of us that have been incarnating on earth for a really long time, you know, since her beginnings, we are accustomed to her energy. You know, that's why we feel so strongly to protect her, you know, as keepers of this earth. And it just shows like how strong we are, because it goes to show the strength of earth. You know, she's resilient, she never gives up, she never stops evolving and changing, and we in a sense mirror that, you know.
I wonder how it feels to be a newer soul on this plane.
Confused.
Very confused and lost. I always wonder, because we've heard that this is supposed to be one of the harder planets to incarnate on, because there is so much soul lessons that occur.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of that?
Yeah, I've heard that, you know, I've heard so many different things like, oh, this earth is like a hellhole. Oh, it's so hard to be here. And it's like, honestly, if you feed into that, then yes, it's going to be extremely hard for you. But earth is of the physical plane. You know, she shows us our shit real time, tangibly. So it's difficult for people to escape what is right smack in your face, because she keeps showing it to you. You know, I say that Earth is the planet where we learn how to love, but it's where we not learn how to love, but embrace love. But it's where we are able to experience spirit in the physical form. And a lot of people think that that's limiting, or it's like, oh, that sucks. But it's honestly amazing when you tap more into what it actually means to be a human on this earth. You know, it's not just what society has said it is, because it's, if you think about the ancient people, you know, during ancient Egypt and all that, they were tapped into some like high level shit. They could lift shit with their mind. And it's like, the more that we elevate in that, we do essentially clean up our shit, you know, recycle essentially all of the things that we have done, the way we have hurt people, the lessons that we haven't learned. That's when we can elevate higher. But you got to be real honest. Like, a lot of people are not willing to face their shit, and that's why they have a difficult time here.
And once we face our shit, face the illusions and the projections, then we're able to shed away all the falseness
Exactly.
of our realities and learn how to be authentic, or to just navigate this terrain.
Yeah.
And the more authentic you are, the more things unfold.
Exactly.
I've noticed, you've noticed, we've all noticed.
Yeah, I really am enjoying like speaking with somebody else who feels that they've been on Earth for a very long time, because I feel like everybody that I like come across, it's always like, I just got here.
This place sucks. I want to go somewhere else.
Right?
And I'm like, I've been here for a long time.
A very long time.
Yeah.
Young Padawan.
Like, you know, I'm like always like, where are the other people who have been incarnating for a long time? And, you know, we had another guest on who was a channeler, and he was talking to us about, he actually like did a reading for us at one point, and he was explaining too, like how there are souls who have been on here for a very long time, and then they'll go to another planet, and then they might like incarnate here again. So he said there's that combo too that can happen. And then he said there's also some people who have souls that are older than Earth. So they will have memories of other planets and might think like, oh, this is my first time here. But in reality, they're just that old, that's at a soul level, that they've had these experiences, and then Earth is here, and now they're like incarnating on Earth for this experience. But yeah, I don't know. I thought it was really cool. I was like, wow. I was like, thank you.
You know? It's funny how the universe works.
Yeah.
It's just funny how things align.
Mm-hmm.
And
right.
Even as having you on the podcast, like even that story we talked about before we started recording, I'm going a mile a minute. Like my energy is like, woo,
I think it's her.
It's you, Divine Derricka. Like what the heck? Like my energy, I'm buzzing.
Yeah,
like
I'm telling you.
seriously.
I think people are gonna listen and feel it too.
They're gonna feel it. It's
yeah, they're
crazy,
gonna feel
but
it.
before we started recording, we were talking about how like everything aligned, and you found our YouTube channel, and you know we were on TikTok, and it's just now we're recording a podcast. Like that's how things go.
Exactly.
Everything's gonna align the way it's meant to.
Yeah. So I have a couple questions. I'm not sure where to start, so I'm just gonna pick a random one.
Totally fine.
Okay.
Wait, I have one first.
Okay.
What's your sun sign?
I am a Leo sun, Leo moon, Libra rising.
Wow.
I'm a Libra rising.
Awesome.
But Virgo.
Yeah.
But yeah.
My best friend's a Virgo, so I love Virgos.
Oh, yay. Well, I like Leos a lot. I actually don't have a preference with astrology. I like everybody.
Okay. That was just random. I'm sorry. Like, just thinking about it.
Yeah, we were just in, this morning, we have this, like, group chat with our friends who are also, like, into this stuff, and we were talking about astrology, like, for hours. I don't know. Like,
yeah, you guys were. I had to play catch up. I'm not always responsive to things.
Yeah.
But, all right, now to questions.
Okay, so you mentioned your spirit guides, and one thing I, like, am learning, and I wonder if you had this experience or could, like, expand on it, is that a lot of people, like, want to know, like, what their spirit guide names and stuff are, and I've learned that some guides actually don't have names like we would understand, because in higher dimensions, it's more about how you feel. And you'd mentioned, like, in Lemuria, how communication was, like, through the heart. So I'm wondering if that's, like, a similar thing, like that similar communication. So what I was, discovering is that you can have a guide that is there because you can feel that energy. And that's how they tell you they're there, that they don't. And then if you can choose to be like, okay, your name is Sandy, and they might be like, okay, I like it, because they don't have, like, a name that we, like, how we are. Like, their communication isn't exactly the same way.
It's like Archangel Orion.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We had
we had a funny story with that, but we were calling Orion Orion.
Orion. Yeah.
And he was like, it's fine. I like that too.
Yeah. This is, like, early on. Like, he, like, come through for a meditation, and we kept saying that, and then he was like, it's fine.
It's all good.
Yeah. So, like, what are your thoughts on that? Like, have you encountered guides that are more like a feeling, and you just, like, know it's there, but it doesn't have, like, a specific name?
Yeah, I've definitely have had those experiences, because for me, I have realized that I am really, like, popular in the spirit world and in other realms, and I didn't realize it until I had all these guides coming to me and they wanting to work with me and interact with me. I'm like, okay, I guess I just must be real popular. And so it's like the way that I would see them sometimes is like this long line, and they would introduce themselves. Because for me, my thing is that before I allow myself to work with a guide, we kind of have like a little interview session. Okay, I'm like, okay, what are you? What are your intentions? How are you? What is our relationship going to be like? Because I've learned to be really discerning with people and beings that want to interact with you. And with that, sometimes it's important to be cautious if they won't even try to give you a name, because we know, and if you don't know, names hold power. So if you don't know the name, or if you and your guides haven't established some form of identification, if you don't know their name, it's like, how are you going to call them in, or how are you going to dismiss them if you no longer want to work with them? So sometimes it is important to have some type of name, but like you said, like, it's not always going to be the way that we imagine. Their names are different than, sometimes their names are in different languages, so it's like just getting to a point where you have that connection to where it's like, okay, you can just call me Lee because my actual name is 20 miles long and you might not know how to say it. So I've definitely have had those experiences, but a lot of my guides always reveal their name to me or always reveal a name that I can communicate with them with, because that is the relationship that I like to have. I'm always like on a name basis, and I like to know people's name because, like I said, names hold power. But, sometimes the language is different. So it's like, okay, interesting. How can I say this and not butcher your name? But our guides, they're really understanding, and they're not going to be like, oh, how dare you say my name wrong? Like they are really, they're like, oh, it's okay. Like, I know you can't say it. It's fine. But yeah, when you work with a lot of guides, for me, you definitely want to have their names and really just know about them and who they are and what their energy is, and get really familiar with their energy, because even if it's not their name, like you said, you can recognize them by how their energy feels.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's like back with the idea of discernment. Like, just because a spirit like has come to you and it feels profound, you should I agree, like give them, like vet it, like see, is this what it really is? Is this something I want to work with? Like, it might be what it is, but do you want to develop a relationship? Like, we have that power.
Exactly.
That's really cool. Wow, I love that. I do like the idea of, definitely, like you said, the name.
Yeah.
Like, just how do I know it's you? Like, if you can't tell
by
like that.
Make it clear.
Like, if there isn't like a blaring feeling that you have where what it is or who it is. And even then, I do agree. I think that's great.
Yeah, because especially nowadays, those of us that hold powerful light, that are powerful spirit beings, there are some malicious energies that want a taste of that. And they are tricksters, and they will, put on this form like, oh, I am the light. People that will try to appear to you as Jesus or Yeshua, however people like to call him. And it's like, that's not who you're talking to. Or people think that they're talking to Lilith. And most of the time, as someone that can feel energy, it's like, that's not who you're talking to. Like, you've established this relationship with something that you don't even know what it is. It's totally fooled you. And sometimes I'm like, should I say something? But Spirit is like, just mind your business. Let them learn. Mind your business. Keep it pushing.
This is all a part of their journey.
Exactly.
They have to make a mistake.
Exactly. Because we can't, I mean, I'm a believer, and I guess it's, a product of how I grew up as well. But it's like, you can't coddle people all the time, especially when it comes to spirit, because how will they ever learn how to discern for themselves? How will they ever learn how to stand on their own 2 feet spiritually if we have people that are constantly coming to their rescue or doing it all for them?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's something I get, mildly concerned too. Like, when I'm online and you see like so many people saying that they're working with so many like spirits. I'm not saying they're not, or discounting people's experience, but there's certain things like if you were like studying certain spirits, like, you'd be like, oh, wait, but I thought, like, according to this culture, like, you don't want to have an altar of that spirit in your house because it's something that could cause harm. Like, yeah, you can work with it, but you don't want it in your home, or, stuff like that. And, so for me, I'm like, I'm not even going to push it. But especially, like, I think all of us have had, like, spirit contact or communication, and, it's different. And sometimes it can be like exciting and you want to like talk about it and stuff. And you see everybody on the internet talking about it. But are you giving that space to vet it and like, learn from it? And sometimes I think too, like, things aren't necessarily always supposed to be shared online. Like,
oh my
sometimes,
gosh, yes.
it's stuff for you. That's for you. And one thing that I'll just bring this up, then we can like move on. I always say that, like, touch on what you were saying, like, your guides are very patient and they love you and stuff like that. And I feel like they also will give you information, but if they give you something that's like scary, they're going to have like some sort of like solution. Like, if they were to give you something that might be uncomfortable, they're going to help you figure it out. Like, they're never just going to drop some like doomsday thing on you and then like leave you hanging. And I keep seeing all these like, scary like channeled things, and I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel right. But yeah. Anyways,
I was just gonna ask. So for your team, do you have certain deities or god? Like, forgive me if I'm saying people's names wrong or identifying them wrong, but do you have certain gods, goddesses that you work with all the time?
So I do. I've learned to kind of, because for me, I am a devotee of Santa Muerte. And when, you devote yourself to her specifically, she is really choosy about who she allows you to work with. And the best way I can describe it is like, if you welcome her into your house, are you living with someone, right? Like a partner, a person, you always want to like say like, hey, is it cool if so and so comes over? And that's kind of what it is. Like, hey, is it cool if, like I invite this deity into my space? Like, are you okay with that? So, I do have to have that clear communication with her. But the main ones that I do work with is Santa Muerte. She's, a spirit. And I do work with Sekhmet. She comes through a lot. Kali Ma comes through a lot for me. Archangel Michael and Archangel Raziel, he's one that I work with, and Raphael Metatron is one that I work with as well. A lot of just the archangels, really, I have a really strong connection with, but Archangel Michael specifically, like I actually have his sigil tattooed on my wrist. But yeah, he's the main one. And then my cosmic guides, which are my Lyran family, my Syrian family, and my Arcturian family. And I do work with the Pleiadians as well.
My goodness.
Wow. Just wow.
We're just like,
we're over here just like shaking our heads like, yes,
this
yes.
is like wild. We we love we do love the archangels, but Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Metatron. You're listing off a lot of spirits that enjoy our company as well.
I feel like sometimes they get annoyed with me. Like you have stuff to do. Like you aren't here for a reason.
Yeah,
like, you got to get out of your feelings and get some work done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say mine is like I'm too cautious sometimes, and where I'm like, are you like really? And they're like, I have to have like things like repeated a lot sometimes. But that's just how everybody's communication and stuff is different. I'm learning to break out of that. And that's like also stems from some past life stuff.
Yeah. So at the beginning, you said that you see the codes and everything. Do you have these energies? Do they come in just when you're just living your life? Or do you need to be in a certain headspace to tap in?
Honestly, they come whenever. I could be, but it's usually for me when I'm in a happy, vibrant state. But then again, sometimes they have come when I was like feeling sad, and like I'll see in my mind's eye like codes and transmissions, kind of like the matrix coding, how that looks. That's what it looks like. Wow. Just the different format, the different type of style of it. But it's usually when I'm in like a really high vibing space that I can just like open my eyes and I just see them everywhere, and I can look at the ground and I see like the veins of the earth and I see the light codes being channeled through it. So honestly, they will come whenever they feel like it. They just, as long as I'm open and receptive, then they are making themselves known.
That's amazing.
That is amazing. And the way you're able to handle it all.
Yeah.
At first, was it shocking?
Yes. I was like, am I going fucking crazy? Like, am I losing my mind? Because it was like, I was seeing all this stuff that no one else could see. I was just like, oh shit. Like, okay. And it got to a point too where I would see the codes and then it would just blurt out of me. Like I would see it and then the vocal transmission would come out. And it's like, I couldn't stop myself. It was just, it had to channel through, because that channeling through like my mind and then through my throat, it was an activation that I needed to integrate. But for me to integrate it, it had to express outwardly.
Wow.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's really amazing. Okay, I think we maybe for our listeners who aren't familiar with light codes and light language, could you like explain it really quick for them in case there's anyone who's doesn't know
confused.
what it is. Yeah, yeah. I didn't think about that early on.
Like for us, we're like, yeah,
We get
totally
it.
get it.
So, light language, the best way that I can describe it is light language is it is a frequency. Light language is energy. Light language come My form of light language and a lot of people that I, connect with, we channel our light language straightly from the divine. People call it God, whatever you want to call that benevolent energy that we all come from, that is where we channel it from. So we are literally channeling light. We are channeling the highest possible frequency into a written transmission or into a vocal transmission. Sometimes it's through movement, through hand gestures, kind of like mudras. And sometimes it's through dance. So light language essentially is just a frequency. It is a language. There are some people that are like, is it really even a language? It's like, yes, it is. It is a language that goes beyond anything that we are accustomed to now, because it comes from such a pure place and it can't be picked apart. Like, it's not, people aren't going to be able to, all the time be like, okay, this means this and that means that, because it's frequency, it's energy. So it's based on what you are channeling, what you are bringing forward. But light language, a lot of people think it's like, oh, is it like speaking in tongues? People in the church that were speaking in tongues. In a sense, it is similar, because that happens when you are tapped into the energy of God and you speak this language that is so foreign and people are like, oh my God, are they possessed? But they are just tapped into something so pure that the human mind can't possibly, I won't say can't possibly, but because our minds are expanding and evolving now, but the logical mind sometimes finds it difficult to process what is being said, because like I said, light language is light, right? Light travels fast, so our logical mind sometimes can't keep up with, like, okay, what does this mean? So that's why people feel it more so on a soul level than they do logically, because it is able to go past your subconscious mind, past your conscious mind, past all of that, straight into your soul and activate what is needed and bring about healing and awakening. And there's really no limit to what light language can do. But essentially, light language in itself is just frequency.
So then, as one is listening, they're being healed, and it's like they don't even have to do anything. You just sit in that space, and they feel it.
Exactly. And sometimes, people will be like, "Oh, I don't feel anything." And usually for the people that don't feel anything, that's because they're carrying a lot of density, a lot of unprocessed emotions, a lot of trauma, a lot of hurt. So their bodies aren't accustomed to feeling higher vibrations, but that doesn't mean that they're still not getting activated. But like you said, like, people can just sit there and they are being activated on a DNA cellular level. So it might not be felt right away, because DNA shifting doesn't always occur like quickly, given how we are evolving as humans. But at the end of it, you're still getting fits nourishment from a transmission.
And for the light language healing, do people experience what we call like the healing crisis, where it can just bring up a lot of old emotions and things that need healed? Is that something that happens, or is it a more gentle approach?
It definitely can be a mix of both. I have had clients that are just sobbing their eyes out, and it's just they can't stop crying, or they feel like pain, because it is bringing up everything from the depths of your being that has ever been suppressed, and it's pushing it out. So it is going to, I always refer as like a detox. When you receive transmissions, your body does go through a sort of a detox to purge out and clear out the density, because with light language, the more that you listen to it, the more that you speak it, the more you're exposed to it, any density, any toxicity, anything with harmful intent, it can't thrive in your body anymore.
We'll be playing her stuff on loop.
See, Do you have a YouTube channel?
Yeah, you should. If you don't.
Literally, I love, like, my best friend is like, see, girl, I told you. Because literally, she has been on my ass. She's like, you have a YouTube channel. You need to put these transmissions on YouTube. You need to do it. And I'm like, I know, I've just been, like, I honestly don't know why I have been just kind of slacking on doing it. But I get so many people on TikTok. They're like, do you have a YouTube channel? Please put this on YouTube. So I'm like, okay, Spirit, I hear you. You want me to go to YouTube? I get it. I get it. So definitely stay tuned for YouTube content with light language transmissions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we experienced the same thing with our Reiki. Like, we were apprehensive of posting it on YouTube, and then we just started doing it, and now we've been able to,
People like it.
and then when we don't post, it's like, what's happening?
I'm so glad you guys, because literally your guys' work is so powerful, and I literally have been listening to them for the past nights, like just playing it on a loop, and I'm just like, yes, like the hormonal imbalance one was just like my saving grace. I'm like, I love it, just because, like I said, the topics that you guys cover is so, like, you don't see that in a lot of Reiki videos. It's always like, oh, to clear negative energy, but you guys really go deep into it, and I'm like, yes, I love this. So I'm glad that you guys.
It really means a lot coming from you, especially.
Yeah.
Like, it really does. Because it's easy sometimes to think that some of the stuff that we do is just, it's, I don't know how to say it.
Like, you put it out there and you hope that it's helping somebody.
You hope it's going to reach the right people, and then sometimes you just don't get the visibility it deserves, or the response. And with our stuff, like, we put a lot of things out just for the collective. Like, we've been given these gifts for a reason, and we need to just throw it out there.
Yeah.
And sometimes it feels like there's these other forces strongly at work to try to stop us
like,
in some of the stuff that we do.
Yeah.
And then, like, the normal, people, we have it up to the public, there's different frequencies operating, and some people still can't wrap their head around the idea that people can be giving away things for free.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, no strings attached. Like, we're literally just doing this because we are called to. It's part of our soul's mission, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like, here it is. And, obviously we have, like, service and stuff people can, pay for if they wanted to. But, like, our whole thing's always been to make Reiki especially, like, very accessible to whoever needs it, because people do need it. They need to have, like, a place they can go to receive that without strings attached. And I think like what you're doing is like that too.
Yeah,
me.
exactly.
That there's this divine thing here for you, and you can go to it, and there's no, like, I don't know, there's just nothing attached to it.
No, it's just a pure, because, like you guys, it's like we are given these gifts for a reason, and it's meant to be shared. Like, of course, we have our business because we still got to eat, and
we're still in this
we still got certain things we got to do. We got bills to pay, but it's like we are just, in a way, it's just we give and we share because it is our nature. And because we are abundant. And it's like, if I'm abundant, if I truly believe that there's infinite plenty, why am I going to be like, no, you can't have none? It's like, no, I'm going to share, because you never know who is going to come across, like my light language transmissions or your Reiki videos, and is transformed by it. Sometimes we can't see the bigger picture, or, sometimes our stuff doesn't get, like that much exposure. But even if it's 2 people, 1 person, that has a far greater impact than we realize. And the way that I see it is like just this ripple effect of like golden light. And it's just like, even if it's 1 person, that 1 person is emitting that strong frequency. And naturally, there are going to be more people that are attracted to that. And then it just spreads. I always say that love is the fastest thing that spreads. Like, yeah, they say fear, but I'm a firm believer that love spreads far faster.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Fear has to be a process, where love is just unconditional. Mm-hmm. There's nothing that needs to be done to cultivate that. Whereas fear and worry, you have to have something to create that.
Yeah. Put that in you.
Yeah, put that in you.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow.
I'm really happy.
I know. Thank you. Thank you so much for being on here. And like, I think a lot of people are gonna really appreciate what you have shared.
Yeah.
I mean, this has been an amazing conversation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is there anything you wanted to touch on?
Honestly, if it's okay with you guys, I just want to bring forward a little transmission for the listeners to
Absolutely.
activate them, because I just felt called to share that. So I guess we can end on, a little transmission.
Oh, yes.
That good
Yeah.
stuff.
Let me get into a meditative position.
Yeah, let me just like tune in for a second to just, I'm just going to let whatever wants to come through because I do feel that there are people that need to hear this message. So Eresute ratashera tu retana lekiela eratashas. Neheretuana lekie retuana. Eresuret elash eratana la sera. Nehelandore I retuana. Eheu ratuale eratashera tuana le ekia. Nehele ela turet ela na ela gia la shurata. Nehela tur shelasa. Eresurut elash. Nelanu ela iretashela na ektara. Nehela ni ikiela shurut ela shana elan. Erasuret ela sana ekiash. Nela nara iretuash. Nela na ieletur. Erasurat ashaseratan. Eresurat ash. Erasatasheratan. Nela naras erat aela sheratas. Nela naras erat aela giene. Eraturet ash. Nela naras erat ashayerakash. And just what I heard wanting to come through is a reminder that you're not alone and that it's important for those of you that are listening. If you feel in your heart that you have a song to sing, or you have something within your soul to share, a way to share your voice, trust that call. Trust what you are guided to say in the moment you are guided to say it, because it is for a reason. And there are people out there that need the medicine that you bring. And the words that you say and the things that you do have a far greater impact, more than you may possibly know. So it is.
Wow. Oh.
I love you.
I love you guys.
Truly.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
I could feel that.
Me too.
I was feeling a lot in my third eye actually, which I thought was really interesting.
I love it.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what our dreams are like after this.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be potent.
I feel like the past few years it's been interesting with like the energies coming in and so on and so forth. And I always thought it was interesting how people are experiencing a lot of physical, I can't get the word, like physical sensations and physical reactions to some of the stuff that we can't explain.
Yeah.
Now I've noticed too, a lot of people were paying more attention to the solar flares and some stuff that's happening cosmically, and it's becoming more to the forefront to try to explain some of the stuff that we're experiencing in this form.
Yeah.
And another thing I've also noticed too is like I feel like people who I always call it activating, like people are getting activated, but I feel like some people's dormant abilities are now like time's up and it just flick of a switch. Now you're able to see. Mm-hmm. Now you're able to hear.
Yeah.
And we just have to all learn how to navigate it all.
Yeah. And just nurture those gifts that are coming online.
Well, I think you're probably activating a lot of people.
Yeah. The best I can have right now is very high vibrating, and like my teeth, this whole conversation, like my mouth, like it's been like chattering my teeth. So I have no clue what that means, but I'm gonna find out.
Yeah, I tend to bring with me a strong, I always say my energy is very much a catalyst, and I activate people just by my energy alone. I don't even have to say anything. I'm just me and that activates people. Like, I was on another podcast interview and I didn't even do a light language transmission. We were just talking, and she messaged me, like a couple hours later, and she was like, literally, I was so activated by that conversation, like it activated my light language speaking abilities.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
I was like, awesome. Like, I didn't even bring forward a transmission. I was just, my energy itself is a transmission.
Wow. It's just us, just being yourself, just being your natural self
Exactly.
is activating enough. And that's a lot of things people take for granted.
Yeah.
Or discount that we all hold this our own energetic signature that has the ability to change lives.
Yeah.
And I know for sure you definitely activated something. So a lot of things that you touched on really resonated with my soul.
Yeah. No, me too.
Like, yeah. Like, so I can't imagine how many listeners are gonna be activated from this.
Yeah, definitely gonna be activated. Because I will say this too, that the time is now. The time for us with these gifts, it's time for us to step up. Because there are forces that will try to undermine what we do, but at the end of the day, they won't be successful. In a way, we've already won. I always am a firm believer in that. And that is why we are called to rise in a bigger way. And it can be real fucking scary. Like, oh, what am I going to do? But I don't like to call myself a light worker. Like I said, I'm more of an alchemist, because alchemists don't fear that there is darkness in this world, that there is evil in this world. It's just, we know how to navigate it. We know how to make it to a point where we don't let that hinder us. So for those of you that are listening that feel this strong pull to rise up, to step into your power, that is for a reason, because we need you strong. We need you powerful. We need you in your gifts, remembering who the fuck you are, because this world that these energies have tried to create, they are counting on you to not know who you are. Because if you don't know who you are, you're easily able to be programmed and manipulated. But if you know who you are, they no longer have control over you. And those that are meant for you will accept you and will embrace you the more that you just embrace who you are, because who you are is a gift. I know a lot of the times it has felt like a hindrance and a burden, but who you are is a gift. You were born that way for a reason. You were bestowed those gifts for a reason, and no one and nothing can ever take that away from you.
That's important. That's really important, because I feel like a lot of people feel like they're weird. Like, it's socially unacceptable to have certain gifts. And it doesn't even have to be just spiritual. It can be like art and music and stuff like that, because it's not like adhering to this like structure that has told us how we're supposed to live and how we're supposed to be. Like, it's like we're in this system that's defining us when we should be like defining who we are, and then shaming us for being authentically ourselves. So that's amazing. I love it.
But once you make it through, the people find you.
Yeah.
Your team, your crew, your tribe finds you every time.
Every time, and I always have said too, and what my guides have said, is that the more that we are ourselves, that is the key that opens the door to our blessings, because it's encoded in our DNA, our blessings, meaning no one can take our blessings from us. Those that try to be who you are, they can't even copy who you are. And it's just, you being yourself holds so much power, because only you can be you, and there's never going to be another like you. We're all so connected, of course, but we are also unique. And the more that we embrace our uniqueness and don't see someone else embodying their uniqueness as a threat, instead as an invite, like, yeah, I could be myself too. Your people find you. And the more that you connect with your true tribe, your soul family, the stronger your energies get, the more you amplify love, and the more that you make shit happen. You literally are shifting things around. And that is what we are experiencing now, that more people are gathering, more people are remembering. That is why we are having so many shifts and fluctuations on our planet, because we are the wave. We are the change.
It's so powerful. Wow. Thank you again for being on this podcast. This episode is amazing. Wow.
Where can people find you?
So you can find me on TikTok, which is Divine_Derricka. Divine traditional spelling, but Derricka is Derricka. Same format for my Instagram. And you can also find me on Twitter, which is Divine Derricka, no underscore. And YouTube, which is Divine Derricka, no underscore there either. But yeah, those are my platforms, and also my website as well, divinederricka.com, where I, offer my sessions. If you feel called to work with me one-on-one, and things of that nature, you can definitely tune in there and check me out. And yeah, for those of you that feel the call, I look forward to working with you. And yeah, I'm really glad that you guys had me on your podcast. I can already tell that we're like soul family, so I love it. I just
oh God, that's so sick. I was thinking that in my head.
'Cause we keep a very tight-knit, small group of people, and it's amazing to be able to connect with total strangers on this level.
And have like that, I don't know, this like similarities.
Yeah.
And wow.
Stunned. Shocked. The magic of the universe at it again.
Yeah.
I love it.
Like
I love it.
Like, we're gonna put you guys together. Don't worry. We probably like knew each other before. It's fine.
I mean, that's what it feels like, like you guys are mentioning Lemuria. And also too, I will say this, the Lemurian seed quartz, they have a way of, they're honestly like telephones, like the original OG telephones, where that is how we connect with our people. So if you have people that have the Lemurian quartz and you are, you have it yourself, you're automatically connected to those that have it as well. That's how we link up and find each other. So
yeah,
if you have a crystal holder, step forward.
Wow.
Step forward. We welcome you.
Yeah. All right. Let's end the episode.
Yeah, let's end it. We could talk for hours.
Yeah. Wow. It's been so like amazing. Like
Well, thank you for taking the time to talk to us.
Yeah, thank you.
Of course.
And
it was so fun.
If you ever want to be back on the podcast, let us know.
Yeah, if you're ever like,
sure.
I'd love to have you back on.
I want to be on a show.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
I would love to.